Heartwarming discovery. Billionaire finds incredible bond between Maid and his 10-year-old twins. In the affluent suburbs of Denver, Jack Thompson stood atop the world of wealth. Yet his heart felt as empty as his mansion. Every day, he rushed off to meetings, greeting another sunrise with spreadsheets and contracts while his 10-year-old twins, Lily and Max, waited for just a moment of his time. They filled spacious rooms with laughter, yet he remained blissfully unaware of their small achievements, from school projects to soccer goals. But that all changed when he hired Elena, a spirited immigrant from Mexico, to help around the house. Her infectious energy lit up the drab corners of his mansion. Within weeks, Elena had woven herself into the fabric of their lives. She told the twins stories of resilience, of risking everything for a better life. Her laughter echoed in the hallways as they played together, painting their hopes on canvas, messy fingers leaving fingerprints of joy. "Can I do it this way?" Lily giggled, her hair bouncing as she tried to mimic Elena's strokes. Max, triumphant with paint splotches on his cheeks, cheered her on. Each day, they gather by the kitchen table, Elena guiding them with gentle patience, teaching them to work hard and treat others with compassion. But Jack's world shattered when he walked in on Elena kneeling beside the twins, her voice soft yet powerful, enlightening them about empathy while they prepared cookies for a neighbor going through tough times. He felt indignation rise in his chest. Who was this woman, and how dare she invade the precious structure of his family? He dismissed Elena with a wave of his hand, not realizing he was severing a vital bond. The next days felt heavy with loss. Lily and Max searched for their friend amidst the silence of their expansive house. It was during those lonesome moments they became keenly aware of who Elena truly was, someone fighting hard against difficulties just to make life better for her own children left behind. They learned that empathy can't be bought, nor can love be measured by wealth. "Why did you fire Elena, Dad?" Max dared to ask after an incident at school, where they defended a classmate from bullies, a lesson they had unwittingly learned from her. Jack's heart sank. Had he raised his children to value status over connection? Was his empire a cage, keeping them away from what truly matters? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Desperate to mend their broken connection, Jack organized a lavish party, sparkling with chandeliers and gourmet food. He believed merrymaking a show of success would win back the twins. But as smiles floated through the air like balloons, Lily and Max felt hollow. The joy felt fake. They longed for the authentic warmth Elena brought. It hit like a thunderclap when, amidst the festivities, Elena's immigration status was revealed. Silence crashed down, leaving Jack rattled with the realization of his own prejudices. Their home felt cold, and even the laughter turned to whispers of condemnation, shifting the ground beneath his feet. Lily and Max, wide-eyed and confused, confronted him, their voices trembling with hope and fear. "Why can't we choose who we love, Dad?" Jack's heart beat like a drum, teetering on the brink. Would he restore what truly mattered, or remain ensnared by the ideals he clung to? The weight of the moment hung thick in the air, pregnant with anticipation. What decision would he make? As his children waited, Jack stood at the precipice of a life-changing choice. The room fell silent, with tension coiling tightly around Jack's heart. He could feel every second thrumming, each tick of the clock a reminder of the choice tearing him apart. He looked into Lily and Max's eyes, searching for the innocent belief that used to fill their gazes. Their trust in him hung by a thread. "Your love for Elena, it confuses me," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. "I thought I was protecting you from hardship." Lily crossed her arms defiantly. "But Dad, she taught us to stand up for what is right. Isn't that what you always said we should do?" Max chimed in, "We want her back. She cares about us even more than you do." His words pierced through Jack like an unexpected gust of wind, exposing a vulnerability he had long ignored. Jack felt the heat flush his face, the pain echoing in their words hitting closer to home than he expected. It wasn't just about Elena. It was about who he had allowed himself to become in the pursuit of success. He had been so focused on keeping up appearances, he had forgotten what real family meant. "I didn't know you felt that way," he murmured, struggling to find the right words. He knelt down, leveling with his children. "I thought giving you everything would make you happy. But I see now I was wrong." In the back of his mind, he recalled the warmth of laughter and the joy he had witnessed when life felt a little less polished. The day they created colorful masterpieces and delivered cookies to neighbors felt light and filled with joy. That era of simple happiness was lost in his ambition. "Can we fix this?" Jack asked, hope tinged with uncertainty. "Can I make it right with Elena?" "Yes." They both shouted in unison, their faces brightening with excitement. That same evening, as the memories of the party still hung in the air like stale confetti, Jack picked up his phone, dialing Elena's number with trembling fingers. Each ring was a nervous beat that amplified his regrets. What would he say? Would she even be willing to talk to him after how he dismissed her? "Hello?" Elena's voice emerged, unsure but soft. Elena. Jack hesitated, heart racing. "I'm sorry. I was wrong." Silence enveloped them. He could almost hear her breathing, processing the weight of the apology. "Jack?" she finally replied, the cautious tone in her voice palpable. "I didn't expect to hear from you. I understand if you don't want to come back, but I want you to know how important you are to my children. You help them see goodness in the world. We need you back." Tears stung his eyes, the truth unspooling like a tightly wound thread. "Please, I'll do whatever it takes to make things right," he urged, desperation coloring his speech. "Jack, it's not that simple," she started, but he interrupted. "Let me prove it to you. Let me show you how much you mean to us." The connection was fragile, but he felt a hint of something in her voice, a warmth that echoed his own yearning for forgiveness. "I'll think about it," Elena finally replied, her tone softening. After they hung up, Jack turned to see Lily and Max, their faces glowing with hope. "What did she say?" they both asked, anticipation hanging in the air. "I think she's open to talking," he replied, heart thudding as he felt a sense of possibility. But just then, the reality of his decisions weighed heavily upon him. Could he alter the deeply entrenched values he had once upheld? And what if Elena hesitated to return? As Jack turned to the twins, questions echoed in the back of his mind. What would their path look like moving forward? Would they truly be able to create an environment filled with love and kindness once more? Determined, he resolved to do whatever it took. The love he stood to reclaim was worth fighting for, but he feared the road ahead would be anything but easy. With dawn approaching, there was still much to face, and he wanted so much more than to merely wish for a better tomorrow. Would he have the courage to confront his own flaws and embrace the life he had overlooked? The resolve settled in his chest, and as Jack watched his children, their faith in him shining brightly, he realized this was only the beginning. What would happen next? The morning sun poured through the kitchen window, illuminating Jack's world in a warm, golden light. It felt like a fresh start, though the weight of uncertainty still loomed over him like a thick cloud. He busied himself with breakfast, flipping pancakes that sent echoes of nostalgia dancing through his mind. "Dad, can I help?" Lily's cheerful voice broke his concentration, and her small hands tugged at his shirt. "Of course." Jack smiled, his heart swelling with affection. They had once basked in simple joys together, and he missed that more than anything. "You can pour the syrup." Max, ever the playful one, snatched a pancake while pretending to be a ninja. "Look out. I'm ready to flip these pancakes like a pro." He twirled like he was in a superhero movie, laughter lighting up the room. Jack joined in their fun, lifting Lily onto his shoulders. Laughter erupted as Max attempted to defeat his sister, and he couldn't help but lose himself in the magic of the moment. This was the spirit he wanted to reclaim, and he could barely remember the last time they had shared such genuine laughter. Suddenly, The reality of the upcoming conversation with Elena gripped him again. He paused, golden brown pancakes resting on the counter, a reminder of the life he so desperately wanted to mend. What if she doesn't want to come back? He thought, a knot tightening in his stomach. Dad, are you okay? Lily's voice drew him back to the present. She studied him, her concern clear. You seem a little quiet. He ruffled her hair affectionately, trying to shake off his worries. Just thinking about how amazing it is to spend time with you two. And we're going to make it better, Max exclaimed, determination shining in his eyes. We'll show her how great it'll be. Jack chuckled softly. Their childlike faith was something precious. You're right. We'll show her. After breakfast, the atmosphere shifted. Jack grabbed his phone, hesitation clawing at him. He wanted to sound strong and reassuring when he spoke to Elena again, but doubts bubbled just under the surface. Could he truly convince her that they were ready for a second chance? Picking at the remnants of his breakfast, he thought about what mattered most. It wasn't just winning Elena back. It was creating a home where love triumphed over ambition, where authenticity flourished in every corner. Determined, he paced the room, each step igniting a flame of resolve. Today, he whispered to himself, I'll take the next step. With a deep breath, he called Elena again. This is Jack, he started, his throat tight. I wanted to talk about the kids. Jack, her voice was calm but with an undercurrent of tension. I've been thinking. This is hard for me. I know it is, he replied. Hurtling forward, he confessed. I've realized I've been wrong and I want to change. For you, for the kids, I want to be a better man. A silence thickened the air, leaving Jack to wrestle with every heartbeat echoing in his ears. He could hear Lily and Max playing quietly in the background, an innocent reminder of what was at stake. Jack, Elena finally said softly, change doesn't happen overnight and I need to know you mean it this time. I will show you, he replied quickly but sincerely. Let me prove it to you step by step. We can rebuild. As he ended the call, Jack felt hope and fear intertwine within him. He didn't know what her answer would be, but the air felt electric with possibility. He stepped back into the living room where Lily was setting up her dolls in a circle, and Max was working on a crayon masterpiece. What's the plan today? He asked, doing his best to sound upbeat. We want to throw a welcome home party, Max shouted. For Elena. Jack's heart soared and sank simultaneously. Party? Just like old times? Yeah. We can make cookies and streamers and all the fun stuff, Lily added, enthusiasm radiating off her small frame. Let us get started then. His smile widened, buoyed by their hopes. Maybe he couldn't predict how it would go with Elena, but this was a start. Reality bit as Jack examined the excitement shining on their faces. Could they truly bring back the life they had lost? Could they create a space that embraced the warmth of love and acceptance again? With determination rooted deeply in his heart, he nodded at the twins. Let us do it together. We'll fill our house with color and laughter once again. As they set to work, the weight of the world shifted. Jack realized they were on the verge of something significant. With every filled crate of supplies, with every burst of laughter, they were redefining their lives. And yet, a stirring doubt lingered, a sense of looming challenge that he could not ignore. What if the steps they took were not enough? What if this road was just a detour away from the happiness they desired? But Jack shook it off. There was a chance, a flicker of hope waiting to light the way. And as they turned colorful glances toward one another, he felt the warmth of fresh beginnings wrapping around them. Would this path lead him back to Elena? Jack's heart raced as he glanced at the rainbow of craft supplies sprawled across the table. Glitter, colored paper, and ribbons invited creativity. But the weight of his upcoming reunion with Elena was like a shadow hovering over their colorful chaos. Okay, team, he called out, trying to push his worries aside. What's the first step for our welcome home party? We need decorations, Lily chirped, hopping up and down on her toes. And cookies. We can bake them together. Don't forget the face painting, Max chimed in, his imagination running wild. We can be superheroes. The excitement bubbling between the twins warmed Jack's heart. Seeing their smiles reminded him of their family nights filled with laughter and chaos. moments he feared lost forever. All right, let us make a list. He pulled together a notepad and dutifully scribbled down their ideas. The morning flew by in a flurry of activity. The sound of laughter echoed throughout the house, mixing with the rhythmic clinks of measuring cups and mixing bowls as they baked cookies. Sweet scents wafted through the air, wrapping around them like a warm hug. Jack caught himself stealing glances at his kids, amazed at how their joy shifted his own uncertainty. Watching them roll out cookie dough brought back memories of baking holidays. The laughter mixed with flour-covered floors and stolen bites of chocolate chips. Each moment felt like a stitch weaving their frayed family tapestry back together. "Dad, look," Lily squealed, showcasing a giant gingerbread cookie shaped like a heart. "We can decorate this for Mom. That's perfect. It shows how much we love her." Jack felt a swell of pride as he saw their innocent enthusiasm. But with that pride came a painful reminder of why they were having this party in the first place. As they decorated the cookie with colorful icing, Jack felt the sorrow creep back in. He absently traced a finger along the cookie's edge, contemplating whether it would be enough to win Elena over. Would a heartfelt party and iconic gingerbread cookie express the profound changes he was eager to show her? "Dad?" Max's small voice cut through Jack's thoughts, breaking his trance. "Are you okay?" Yes, I'm fine," he replied, but he knew the words felt hollow. He forced a smile and mustered every ounce of love for his kids. They deserved a happy father, one who didn't carry the burden of uncertainty. "I'm just thinking about how wonderful today is." As they dived into face painting, Jack let himself go. Laughter filled the air as they painted one another's noses and cheeks with every color imaginable. For a while, he managed to put the weight of his worries aside, focusing instead on the joy radiating from Lily and Max as they showcased their silly faces. "Super Dad, to the rescue," he announced dramatically, feigning heroics as he struck a pose. The twins burst into a fit of giggles, their joy infectious. But as the clock ticked on, each passing minute echoed louder in Jack's mind, reminding him that soon, Elena would arrive. What if she saw the chaos and thought they hadn't changed at all? Or worse, what if she felt overwhelmed and turned away? When everything was ready, they joined hands in the living room, forming a small circle. "Let us take a moment to think about how we want to make Mom feel when she gets here," Jack suggested, his heart pounding. "Let us send good thoughts." They closed their eyes, and Jack held on to the hope that swelled inside him. This was their chance to embrace the chaos of their lives, to show Elena they were all working towards something greater, a family rebuilt upon love. "All right, time for the next part," Max said, jumping in excitement. "We have to hide until she gets here." Shoo! As they scrambled into their hiding places, anticipation buzzed in the air. Jack could hardly breathe. The energy around him was electric, vibrant with possibility. Would that warm welcome home be the step that brought Elena back? Or would it lead him down another path, leaving him with even more questions to answer? Just as he took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever came. Next, the front door creaked open. "Jack?" Elena's voice called out, tinged with curiosity. His heart skipped a beat. Would this moment become magic or reveal more fractures? He wanted to be brave, to push through the fear, but like the appropriately painted cookie before him, he wondered if they could hold together in the end. Jack held his breath as Elena stepped inside. The moment she entered the living room, the air shifted. Her eyes widened as they scanned the riot of colors and decorations. The laughter of Lily and Max filtered out from their hiding spots, an anxious thrill hanging in the air. "Wow, you all really went all out," Elena exclaimed, her voice tinged with surprise. But Jack couldn't determine if that surprise held joy or skepticism. "Surprise!" came the jubilant shout from behind the couch as the twins burst out, painting-smeared faces beaming with excitement. "Mom!" Lily cried, her arms outstretched, rushing toward Elena. Elena crouched down, enveloping Lily in a warm embrace. Jack watched, his heart swelling. He remembered this feeling, the simple beauty of being a family. But doubt tugged at the edges of his emotions. Would this moment last? Max joined them, grabbing onto Elena's leg, his eyes full of hope. "We made cookies," And we painted. Look, Elena straightened, looking from one child to the other, her face flashing between joy and a flicker of uncertainty. Jack stepped forward, running a hand through his hair. We wanted to show you how much we missed you. Elena, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Dad helped us, Lily added, her enthusiasm bubbling over. Yeah. Super Dad, Max shouted, striking a pose, just as Jack had done earlier. A smile broke through Elena's initial hesitation, but it faded quickly. Jack felt the ache of unspoken words hanging in the air, like a fragile thread waiting to snap. It's great to be welcomed like this, she finally managed, her voice soft. Jack's stomach nodded. He noticed the way her eyes darted around the room. The decorations were too much, the chaos too palpable. Would it drive her away, or could it draw her back? Let us cut the cookie, Lily suggested, tugging at Jack's hand. We made a special one. Elena watched as they lifted the giant heart-shaped gingerbread cookie, intricately decorated with swirls of colorful icing. That looks wonderful, she said, her tone warm but still distant. As they gathered around the kitchen table, the atmosphere felt both electric and cautious. Jack's heart raced with the hope that this simple cookie shared under the glow of soft lights could break the walls that had formed between them. Can you help us decorate it more? Lily beseeched, eyes shining. There was a tug-of-war in Jack's heart, wanting to feel assured that this could mend their family, yet nervous about Elena's response. Of course, Elena answered, a gentle smile emerging as she carefully picked up an icing tube. I'd love to help with that. Just as Jack felt the warmth of the moment blend their worlds again, a sudden thought crossed his mind. Could a cookie truly fix what was broken? Was this just a facade of happiness, or could it become genuine? As Elena started to decorate, the kids giggled, lost in a whirlwind of colors and sugary delight. Jack stood back, taking in the scene, yearning to see them as a family again. Every giggle wrapped around him like a thread of hope. Then, abruptly, the doorbell rang again, cutting through the laughter like a sharp knife. Jack's stomach dropped. The arrival of unexpected guests could change everything. Who is it? Max shouted eagerly, already darting toward the door. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. Wait, but it was too late. The door swung open, revealing a familiar face that would now add a twist to their fragile reunion. What would this mean for them? Would this be the unexpected opportunity they needed, or a step back into uncertainty? As the figures approached, Jack's heart raced anew, anxiety washing over him. Would this create more distance, or could it somehow bring them closer together? Jack turned to the door, dread pooling in his stomach. As the door opened wider, the familiar face of Nancy, their old neighbor, stepped into view. Her bright smile was a stark contrast to the atmosphere in the living room. Surprise. I heard you were having a celebration, she chirped, her voice cheerful as ever. Jack forced a smile, striving for warmth as he addressed her. Hi, Nancy. What a surprise. Elena stood frozen, her hand hovering over the icing tube, unsure whether to go to Jack's side or remain with the kids. Lily and Max, caught up in their excitement, dashed to Nancy, hugs flying as they welcomed her like they would a beloved aunt. Look at what we made. Max beamed, tugging Nancy's arm toward the table. Jack felt a pang of guilt. He had wanted the moment with Elena to be special, a chance to reconnect. Instead, the arrival of an uninvited guest was shadowing their precious time together. Wow, you two are so talented, Nancy exclaimed, kneeling down to admire the heart-shaped cookie. As she engaged with the children, Jack caught a glimpse of Elena's face, a mix of relief and disappointment. What kind of thoughts were running through her mind? Would she remember their alternative world, her own space where it was just them? Or was this connection she was experiencing now enough to overshadow it? Maybe you can help us decorate too, Lily suggested, her enthusiasm infectious. Of course. I love icing cookies, Nancy replied, eyes glimmering with joy. Jack stood back, running a hand through his hair again, feeling like an outsider in his own home. This wasn't how he imagined the day going. Elena finally moved closer to the table, drawn in by the duo. "That sounds fun," she said, her voice softening a little. Jack felt a flicker of hope ignite in his chest. Maybe this was just what they needed, a distraction. A shared laughter. Something to ease the tension as the three of them began decorating cookies. The laughter cascaded around the room again. Jack watched, transfixed. This fragile moment danced dangerously close to normalcy. But he couldn't shake the feeling of the air still being heavy with unspoken words. "Are you guys coming for the block party this weekend?" Nancy asked, nudging the atmosphere in a lighter direction. Jack quickly nodded. "Yeah, we're planning to. The kids love it. Mom, can we?" Lily looked up with wide eyes, hoping for a yes. Elena hesitated, glancing from Jack to the kids. Slowly, she smiled and nodded. "I think I'd like that." The words left her lips lightly, but Jack noticed a tinge of uncertainty behind her eyes. Max jumped up, squealing in delight. "Yay! It's going to be so fun." The energy spread like wildfire. Nancy diverted their attention with stories of past block parties, the silly games, the community cook-off, the neon glow of lights that filled the streets. She sprinkled the moment with laughter, a musical backdrop that made everything feel lighter. But deep down, Jack's mind reeled with concern. How long could this joy last? If they could find happiness amid the chaos, did it mean their family was on the path to healing? The door to the past had creaked open a little, but would it close just as quickly when life returned to normal? In a fleeting moment, he caught Elena's gaze. She acknowledged him, and for that brief second he felt like they were in sync. But just as hope flickered again, another knock echoed through the house, sharp and insistent. "What now?" he whispered under his breath, dread creeping back in. Who else could be arriving? As the next guest prepared to enter, Jack's heart raced in anticipation. What new twist awaited them, and would it unravel the delicate stitch they had begun to weave? Jack felt a bead of sweat trickle down his back as he stood frozen, staring at the door. The knock resonated sharply, sounding much louder in the charged air of their living room. Was it one more unexpected visitor, ready to turn the tide of their fragile joy? "Maybe it's just the mailman?" Elena suggested, her voice a mirror of his anxiety, but finding it hard to disguise her own nervousness. "Hope so," he responded, trying to sound nonchalant, but even he could hear the tremor. Nancy leaned in closer to the kids. "Why don't you two go check it out?" she suggested brightly. "It might be a special surprise just for you." Lily and Max, curious and energetic, grabbed each other's hands and hopped toward the door. Jack felt a pang of apprehension as he watched their little bodies bounce with excitement, unaware of the tension threading through their father's heart. With a swift pull on the doorknob, Lily swung the door open, and the cheerful squeal of her brother was drowned by the shocked silence that followed. Jack's heartbeat quickened as he stepped forward, his protective instincts kicking in. Who he froze. Standing there, looking as disheveled as a lost puppy, was Daniel, their estranged uncle. Jack hadn't seen him in years, not since the falling out that pushed him away from the family. Daniel's face wore an expression that Jack struggled to read. Was it regret or determination? "Hey, Jack," he said quietly, the words almost hesitant. Elena's eyes widened as if she were seeing a specter from the past. She took a small step back, instinctively gripping the table, while Nancy stood wide-eyed, caught in the middle between their past and the hopeful moment they had been crafting. "Lily, Max, come on, back away," Jack shouted. The children halted, their jubilation fading into confusion. "What's going on, Dad?" Max asked, peering around Jack's leg. "Nothing, buddy. Just stay back for a minute, okay?" Elena's face turned pale. "Why is he here?" she whispered. Her voice trembled like fragile glass. Jack wanted to shield her from this ghost, but it was clear that Daniel was here to breach a boundary that was meant to stay closed. Memories, fierce and unyielding, crashed over him like waves. The last time they spoke had been a roaring argument, fueled by pride and hurt. "I came to talk," Daniel said, his tone uncharacteristically quiet, as if he hoped the weight of years shared would somehow ease the moment's intensity. "No," Jack replied bluntly, the words slicing through the air. You can't just show up like this. Daniel's eyes searched Jack's, desperation mingling with years of regret. I know I messed up. But I need to explain. For the kids. Confusion played across Elena's face, as if she was trying to piece together a puzzle with missing parts. The kids stood behind Jack, tiny sentries torn between their loyalty to their father and fascination with the grown man who had suddenly appeared. Why now? Jack challenged, his voice heavy with disbelief. After all this time, Max, feeling the tension rise like smoke, tugged on Jack's hand. Dad, who is he? It felt like the room had grown impossibly small. Nancy, sensing danger, cautiously stepped back, giving them space. I just want to be part of their lives, Daniel finally said, the unease in his voice undercut by a hint of vulnerability. I never wanted to miss out on our family. The words crashed over Jack, stirring emotions he thought he buried. What if this was the chance for healing? What if their family could be bigger than before? But was he ready to risk it? As Jack weighed the options, he felt Elena's hand brush his arm, grounding him in an unfamiliar moment. They were united against this familiar threat, but would they truly stand together, or crumble as they did before? With his heart pounding like a drum, Jack looked into Daniel's eyes, searching for sincerity behind the storm of memories. Was this truly a chance for reconciliation, or another misstep into discord? Everything hung in the balance, and the future felt wilder and more uncertain than ever. Tell me why I should trust you, Jack began, holding onto the thread of hope fluttering in the wind. Could they bridge the gap to what once was? Or would this moment tear them apart one more time? Jack's words hung in the air, almost tangible. He watched Daniel's face, searching for something, anything that hinted this wasn't just another empty promise. Beneath the surface, he felt that old familiar urge to protect his family rise up, but something deeper whispered to him. Maybe, just maybe, this was a chance for healing he couldn't ignore. Why should I trust you? Jack repeated, his voice softer now, eyes locked onto his uncle's. I know I don't have much to offer right now, Daniel began, his voice trembling. But I've spent years thinking about how I failed my brother and how that failure rippled through the family. I want to make it right, for you and for the kids. Behind Jack, Lily quietly tugged on his shirt. Dad, he looked sad. Jack knelt beside her, holding her small shoulders in his hands. I know, sweetie, but sometimes sad people do things that hurt others. Max peeked around Jack's leg, the confusion still clear on his face. But maybe he didn't mean to, right? Jack felt the weight of their innocent trust pressing down hard. It's complicated, buddy. Daniel cleared his throat, eyes glistening with unshed tears. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Jack. What I'm asking for is a chance to earn your trust back. To show you both that I've changed. Elena's expression was a mix of fear and curiosity. And how do you plan to do that? Daniel took a breath, steadying himself. I'll start small. I want to be there for the kids. Just help where I'm needed. No expectations, no demands. Just be a part of their lives. Jack felt that familiar storm of emotions, anger, fear, even a sliver of hope. It was all heavily laced with caution. And if things go wrong again, what then? I get it. I used to be reckless, Daniel admitted, his voice stronger now. But I'm different. I want to show you that it's not just talk. The silence that followed felt heavy, a mix of Jack's instincts and the years of hurt folding in on each other. Okay, let us say I agree. What do you want to do first? Daniel's lips curled into a cautious smile, but Jack noticed it didn't reach his eyes. Maybe we could start with pizza night? Just the kids and me. A low-pressure way to see if this could work. Jack exchanged a glance with Elena. She was faltering, like a candle in a gust of wind. She shook her head subtly, her way of warning him, of telling him she wasn't convinced. But the kids deserved to know who their uncle was. Didn't they? What do you think, honey? Jack asked, still searching Elena's gaze. Her eyes softened, but uncertainty lingered. I think maybe giving him a chance for one night, one tea hurt. Max bounced on the balls of his feet. Can we, Dad? Please? Lily chimed in, her innocent excitement transforming the heaviness in the room. "I want to meet my uncle." Feeling cornered, Jack took a deep breath. "Okay, we'll try it. One night." Daniel nodded, visibly relieved. "I promise I won't let you down." But as Daniel stepped back, his expression shifting from desperation to hope, Jack felt a sliver of dread creeping back in. What if this turned into another betrayal? As if sensing his conflict, Daniel reached out. "Just give me a chance. For the kids and for our family." Jack suddenly felt the weight of the decision resting heavily in his chest. As he looked at his kids' wide-eyed anticipation, the future seemed uncertain. Was he really ready to embrace this possibility for their family? Or was he just setting them all up for heartbreak again? With a quick glance over his shoulder, he saw Elena, her face a mix of trepidation and support. The kids were hopeful, and despite himself, Jack could almost feel that fragile thread of trust beginning to weave into the fabric of their lives. "All right," he finally said, heart racing. "But if anything goes wrong, you're out." Daniel nodded earnestly, the sincerity in his eyes sparking something in Jack. A flicker of hope, however tenuous. Just then, the doorbell rang again, pulling Jack away from his thoughts. His pulse quickened. What now? They weren't about to face another unexpected twist, were they? "Can you get that, Lily?" he called, bracing himself for whatever else lay ahead. Would this new chapter in their lives bring blessings or burdens? The door creaked open again, and before he could prepare for the next surprise, he heard a gasp that made Jack's heart skip a beat. What could be waiting just beyond the door? Jack's heart raced as he turned to see who stood on the other side of the door. The moment felt thick with tension. Lily had already flung the door wide open, and Jack caught a glimpse of a figure, her eyes wide with shock. There stood a woman he hadn't seen in years. Amy, Jack's old high school friend. A cheerful soul with an infectious laugh that used to fill their small town. And now, here she was, standing on his porch, nestled amidst the memories of his past. "Jack." Her voice wavered, disbelief etched across her face. "Is that really you?" Jack blinked, caught off guard. "Amy? Wow. It's been ages." For an instant, the heaviness in his chest lifted, replaced by the warmth of nostalgia. Lily peered up at him, then back at Amy, puzzled. "Who is she, Dad?" Max tugged on Jack's shirt. "Is she the lady who brings cake to the bake sale?" Amy's laughter broke any remaining tension. "Clothes. I used to help out, but it was your dad who always brought the best cookies," she said, a glimmer of mischief returning in her eyes. Come in. Come in." Jack gestured, stepping aside. "I can't believe you found me here. I thought you moved to the coast." She stepped inside, looking around with a mix of curiosity and longing. "I did, but I moved back. Thought I'd de-settle down again. Seems like I found a surprise instead." Daniel stood off to the side, watching the exchange. Jack sensed his presence but didn't want to shift the focus from the genuine connection reawakening before him. Elena caught Jack's eye, her expression bouncing between surprise and concern. "This is unexpected," she whispered softly. Her skepticism momentarily set aside as Amy and Jack engaged in a simple catch-up. Memories flowed like a gentle stream. Their childhood antics, the summer evenings spent under the stars. With each shared laugh, the weight of the day lifted just a little more. Just then, Amy's attention shifted to Lily and Max bending down. She addressed them with warmth. "And who are these little ones?" Lily beamed, soaking in the attention. "I'm Lily. I want to bake too." "Max," the boy chirped, a grin plastered across his face. "Can you bake cupcakes? I can teach you both." Amy's eyes twinkled, and as she informed them of her famous cupcake recipe, Jack couldn't help but feel a wave of comfort wash over him. A moment of normalcy amidst the chaos of their lives. But then he noticed Daniel fidgeting, his easygoing demeanor shifting slightly. Jack's protective instincts flared. Here was his family, vulnerable, caught up in memories that twisted into the present, while Daniel stood just outside that circle of warmth. "Daniel," Jack said, bringing attention back to the one who had sought redemption. "This is Amy, an old friend." "Amy," Daniel's voice trailed off, cautious but curious, as he stepped forward to greet her. "I'm Daniel, Jack's uncle." Amy studied him, a spark of recognition flashing in her eyes. "The brother, the one who—" "I get it. I'm not what you expected," Daniel interjected gently, his voice steady. "But I'm trying to be better." Her expression softened. "Everyone deserves a chance to change," she replied, a touch of understanding in her voice. As the atmosphere shifted, Jack felt the fragile thread of trust intertwining with the unexpected kindness of an old friend. Perhaps this was the spark they needed, a chance for a fresh start, woven with laughter and understanding. But just as they began to settle into the warmth of their reunion, Jack's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, heart dropping as he saw the name of his boss on the screen. Duty tugged at him, pulling him from this moment of connection. "Sorry, I've got to take this," Jack said, already feeling the weight of duty settle back on his shoulders as he stepped into another room. He overheard Lily excitedly suggesting a cupcake-making party, the sound of laughter bursting through the air. But in his heart lingered a question. Was this the beginning of a new chapter, or just another distraction from the issues that still loomed close? He returned to the cheerful noise, trying to mask his concern. Each laugh reminded him of the delicate balance they were trying to balance, the hope of redemption juxtaposed with the fears of past mistakes. What awaited him in that conversation? Would he be able to juggle the weight of his responsibilities alongside his renewed family ties? As he walked back into the living room, the air filled with laughter, Jack felt a mix of hope and apprehension. Was he truly ready to embrace this unexpected reunion? As Jack stepped back into the living room, the warmth from the laughter enveloped him like a thick blanket. The kids were bustling around with Amy, flour flying, giggles ringing as they attempted to measure out the ingredients for their cupcakes. Jack's heart swelled at the sight of his children so happy. It pulled him toward a happier time, reminding him of who they were as a family before ambition overshadowed everything. Then he glanced at Daniel, who stood awkwardly in the corner, his expression a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. Jack felt a stirring of sympathy. "Hey Daniel," he called out, attempting to bridge the gap created by years of distance. "Why don't you join us? We're making cupcakes." Daniel's hesitation evaporated, and he stepped forward. "Really? I don't want to intrude, not at all," Jack assured him. "We could use extra hands." As if sensing an olive branch extended, Daniel smiled. His demeanor shifted, and for the first time, Jack felt a sense of genuine hope flashing in his uncle's eyes. "All right, I'm in," he replied, walking over to the kids. Jack watched as his kids hopped around, excited to show Daniel the mess they were making. Laughter filled the room, interspersed with flour dust as they navigated the kitchen like a whirlwind of joy. Jack couldn't help but chuckle at the chaos. This unplanned gathering felt like a savior to his soul, the iridescent connection between families starting to spark back to life. Meanwhile, Amy sat across from Elena, clearly feeling the pulse of the moment. "It's beautiful to see them enjoying themselves," she said supportively, her eyes glinting under the kitchen lights. Elena nodded, her smile widening as she watched the children. "Yes, it feels like home again." Yet, Jack's heart twisted, sensing a split at the seams of this newfound harmony. A thought nagged at him: could all of this be enough? Would having Daniel back, feeling all the cracks beneath the surface, lead them toward lasting connection or pull them deeper into disarray? "All right everyone, time to decorate," Amy announced, cutting through Jack's thoughts. The children cheered, their small faces radiating pure joy as they leaped forward, eager to take part in the creative chaos. Jack sighed deeply, letting the rhythm of their laughter wash over him. "Hey Max," he called. "Want to help me with some sprinkles?" "Yeah, Dad." Max sprinted over, and they both dove into a rainbow of toppings, giggling together as they covered their cupcakes in a wildly colorful array. Elena and Amy exchanged glances, both trying to rein in the burgeoning mess, but they couldn't suppress going with the flow of their children's boundless energy. For a moment, everything felt blissfully perfect. Memories of their laughter and simple joys washed over Jack like waves against a shore, every crest and trough reminding him of what he had fought so hard to reclaim, the family values they had almost lost. Then, In the middle of the giggles and sprinkles flying, Jack felt a presence beside him. He turned and saw Daniel, standing with a cupcake in hand, looking nervously at the kids. "How do I make them smile?" he asked quietly, the shadow of insecurity creeping into his voice. Jack took a moment, eyeing the kids dancing around in delight. "Just be honest and enjoy yourself. Kids can spot authenticity a mile away," he advised, his voice steady. Daniel took a breath, steadied his heartbeat, and called out to the twins. "Hey, do you think I can make a cupcake shaped like a rocket?" Elena's lips curled into a smile watching Daniel, and Jack felt the tension start to dissolve. "Let us see," Lily exclaimed, bouncing over. In that moment, Jack realized he wasn't just seeing a potential bond form between Daniel and the kids. He was witnessing a shift, one that could redefine their entire family dynamic. Could every challenge they faced mark a new beginning rather than a painful reminder of the past? As the evening rolled on, Jack caught Elena's gaze, filled with warmth and uncertainty intertwined. He tilted his head slightly, wanting to voice a thought that danced on his lips. "Let us take this one step at a time," he said, breaking through the noise. Elena nodded as if reading his mind, the spark of hope igniting a new path forward. "Yes, together," she affirmed. Jack observed the laughter around him. Their kitchen transformed into a sanctuary of belonging, the children's joy-feeding moments of healing. And with every spoonful of frosting and sprinkle that fell, the walls they built began to lift. "Look at this," Max shouted, presenting a cupcake tilted to the side, but bursting with color. "It's the best rocket ever." "Yes, blast off," Daniel cheered, his voice younger, lighter, leaving behind shadows of his past. Jack felt an overwhelming rush toward the potential future ahead of them. Hope mingled with reality, and for the first time in ages, the uncertainty felt manageable. Soon, with full bellies and ecstatic hearts, they settled in for a movie night, the flickering screen casting shadows of laughter across the walls. In that moment, bonds were reforged. Laughter echoed through the corners of their home, shaping moments worth fighting for. As the credits rolled, Jack glanced at each member of his newfound circle of family: Lily, Max, Elena, Amy, and Daniel. They were a mosaic of imperfections and joys stitched together with understanding and love. What had once felt lost seemed more vibrant than ever. Jack could hardly recognize the man consumed by ambition. He was becoming someone who recognized the beauty of connection. Epilogue, he whispered as a joyful smile illuminated his face. The journey ahead wouldn't be perfect, but every step forward, every shared moment of vulnerability forged through laughter would be worth it. Together, they would navigate through whatever storm life had yet to unleash. As he watched the flickering shadows dance across the room, Jack felt that every second mattered even more now. Beyond fears of rejection and hopes of reconciliation, the path ahead was waiting, a chance to embrace a family redeemed anew. And at that very instant, Jack found clarity. This was the life he wanted to build, a life filled with laughter, warmth, and unwavering love. Time flowed on, inviting them into tomorrow, and Jack knew without hesitation that he would seize every single day with all his heart. As the lights dimmed and the laughter faded into the quiet of the night, he smiled, deeply aware. This, finally, was home. Now, if you felt transformed by this story, it's vital that you act now. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive tales of resilience and love. Leave a like now to feed that algorithm and support more compelling stories just like this. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this beautiful transformation. Your support matters, show it now.